but they'd replace him with a cat. And then the dog disappeared. They do it every now and then. See the dog with an old... He looks homeless, but he's always driving very nice cars, man.
Okay.
So that's an amazing
I think I've seen a documentary, a short 30-second documentary on that on the TV every now and again.
It has been on multiple short film festivals. Yes, I've seen the documentary multiple times. It's an amazing story of survival from a dog's behalf.
It is.
I'd also like to know, the dog at some stage seems to be in India and Asia.
Right.
How far did this dog get washed from the original point of broadcast where the man got the lotto numbers via the radio?
All these unanswered questions.
I'm going to need to watch the documentary.
You may need to watch
director's commentary on.
The Fletch and Vaughn podcast.
Did you see the John Campbell Live story on Jerry Collins last night?
I did. I watched that.
There's this. That's how I've asked a few people. Did you see that? People are like, yeah, and then we just look at each other like, waiting for the first person to say, did it seem made up to you? So, how does that story sit with you?
So, John Campbell...
This is how everybody's talking about it.
It's so weird.
You kind of... At what point do I start with this? With the knife or the two knives or hiding out in a department store, or the fact that he'd had a run-in with a Brazilian gang of workers who disliked foreign rugby players.
Brazilians, they're not gonna... Actually, I've seen it. What's that movie? That Brazilian slums movie? That's pretty scary.
Slumdog Millionaire.
No, that's not. That's India.
Was that India?
That was India.
I did wonder.
So actually, they could be quite. Because when I think of Brazilians, I just think of hot volleyballers or something. Yeah, no, they're very,
Do you know, because after, because they've got a bit of a martial art history, because after World War II, where, quick history lesson, Japan and Germany were the bad dudes.
Yep.
They were kind of like, South America was a haven for them.
Right.
Because they wouldn't extradite them back. So they got a whole lot of like these Nazi dudes. I've watched a series called Nazi Hunters, and they were always down there.
Okay.
And like a whole bunch of Japanese guys went in, and they kind of developed this full-on martial arts culture.
Right.
So they've got like Brazilian jiu-jitsu, bit of this, bit of that.
But they wouldn't be hard to find in Japan running around, would they? After Jerry Collins.
No, they would. They'd stick out a little bit in Japan, I think, the Brazilian workers. But yeah, so it's this phenomenal story that almost feels like it's being made up as it's going along, allegedly. Supposedly.
That's
distancing
what
myself
he thinks.
legally.
He thinks he ran into the store to get away from them.
Yeah, but somebody said he was sweating and he looked really like freaked out and strung out when he went into the department store, and he had two knives. One of them broke the 17-centimetre limit, but one of them was under.
John Campbell said he did a drug test, and so he doesn't have any drugs in his system. This is what these tests say. He wasn't on drugs or anything.
And they can hold you in Japan for 28 days, whereas here, what is it, 24 hours, 48 hours they can hold you?
I guess so, yeah, and then they have to let you go.
Yeah, if they don't have... But yeah, so they can hold you in Japan for 28 days, which is, substantially longer.
I would have liked to see John Campbell go, just as a side note, seeing as he'd flown all the way over there, go into the factory, and I've read up about this factory, that make the fake sushi, the plastic sushi pieces. You know when you go into a sushi place?
No.
And they have plastic sushi?
No.
Yeah, they do. And they have fake udon noodles and fake teriyaki chicken bits.
What, as a display to show you what it would look like if you ordered
There's a factory that makes all those. Oh, I know. I read an article about it. Fascinating. I always
thought that was real.
No.
They just made extra at the start of the day and left it for display.
And
the next
dipped
day
it in varnish or something.
Well, no, I just thought that I've never looked closely enough at it. I thought you were going to say you wanted John Campbell to experience all the vending machines in Japan.
Well, that too.
He does in tonight's episode, actually. It's a side thing. He was over there. He thought he'd film a couple.
Right.
But it's one of those weird stories that, and being, I like to engage in a little bit of fibbery every now and then, push the old excuse just a little bit fast, see what I can get away with, being cheeky. But it did feel like one of those stories that...
It's like here when people asked if you were using their margarine in the fridge and you lied, but we all knew because you do that thing, that towel.
Do I have a towel?
Yeah.
What's my towel?
You just have a cheeky grin afterwards when you say no. We're just like, no. Stop lying, Vaughn.
And the corner of my mouth goes, and I look like the Joker a little bit. Yeah, I didn't choose your margarine. But it does feel like one of those stories, and, it is, for all intents and purposes, all that we know, it is true. It's a true story. He was, he felt he was in danger, but... who's going to believe him? And on that note, I would like to know from you on 0800 The Edge, or you can text message into the studio, when you were telling the truth but no one believed you.
Because it sounded so made up.
And even when you look back on it now, you're like, I can see why people didn't believe me, because it did seem like a far-fetched yarn.
Do you remember that time I saw a jaguar in the wild and nearly died?
Fletch saw it. Where were you again? Puerto Rico. Costa Rica. I always get those two confused. Why don't they become one?
Because they're different
can be Porta Costa.
countries far away from each other.
Costa Porta. Yeah, Fletch is like, I saw a jaguar. And he had his camera out taking photos of like trees and monkeys and sloths.
But I could believe that you wouldn't believe that, because it sounds far-fetched,
yeah,
doesn't
you
it?
just don't see jaguars.
No, it's very hard to.
Yeah.
But
it's
I
like
did.
I've got it, when we were in Canada and I went on a snowmobile, somebody said, how fast did they go? I said 110 kilometres an hour was the fastest we went on a snowmobile. Now that sounds ridiculously fast on a snowmobile, and it was. People don't believe that. People think that's an exaggeration.
I'd believe that.
Would you?
You're bloody crazy.
Thank you. Is my mouth turning up a little bit?
Is that a lie? Is that a lie?
No, that's a true story. That's a true story.
Be careful.
But no one believes. I know, but no one believes it because it does seem ridiculous. Because we don't have snowmobiles here, I guess, so people don't know. But
all right, so
I would like to know. Better if it was an excuse. Or you know, you had an alibi, but it just seemed so made up. Somebody was in Kuala Lumpur with my brother. We were climbing up into a religious cave and stopped to take pictures of, I don't know what was religious about this cave, but they stopped to take pictures of monkeys. One grabbed my brother's iPhone and threw it on the concrete stairs, smashing the screen. Telling the travel insurance was really funny. They'd never heard it before, but we got pictures of it as it reached out and grabbed for the phone. There's this poor, but even the travel insurance were like, it's very convenient that everyone that goes to Indonesia blames monkeys.
And they actually did.
Yeah. Someone said I was driving down the street when I lived in Australia, just in a urban area, so it was 50 kilometres, and an emu ran past me. No one ever believes that an emu overtook me, and it ran down the street. There were two people walking. They shit themselves, and they took off and ran away. And I was yelling at them, "Stop! Come back! I need witnesses! No one's ever going to believe this."
I'm just googling fastest emu speed.
No, they are quick. They run people race ostriches, and I think they're as quick as an ostrich.
Their ability to run at high speeds, 48 k's per hour, is due to their highly blah, blah, blah.
See, if you were rocking along at 45, just obeying the road rules, if you're going past a school zone, and you could bolt past you at 48 k's an hour.
During a school zone time, that could be a ticket for an emu.
I would ticket that emu. I would light it up. Whoop, whoop, and pull it over. Right, Mr. Emu, you don't know why I pulled you over? He's like, because I didn't indicate. No, you did indicate. You were just breaking the speed limit.
Everybody's always got emu's always got an excuse.
This in my head is how emus talk.
0800 Edge, Sam, what was your story that nobody believed?
Well, I found 5 $100 notes rolled up with a rubber band in a sort of foresty area.
Yeah.
Took it to the cops to see if anyone would come and claim it, because that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I wish someone would do the same for me if that happened.
Yep.
Told my mum and dad what I did. They didn't believe me. They thought I was sucking up.
Yeah.
And pretty much 2 weeks later, cops called me and said no one had claimed it and I could have it. So I had the $500 and I rubbed it in their faces.
So what did everyone think? Did people think you'd stolen it and then got an attack of the guilt, so you played out this long-winded game to get $500?
Pretty much. They asked me if I was selling pot as well.
Parents love that, eh? The minute someone's got a bit of money or something, or they look a bit sleepy, or they've got the start of conjunctivitis, mum and dad assume it's pot
Are you on
smoking.
drugs?
You're on the drugs, aren't you? Don't lie to us. We know you're on the drugs.
Sort of weird. I found $500 and they're suddenly like, your eyes look a lot redder than you.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was crying with excitement at the $500. That made my eyes red.
Amazing. Hey, Sam, wait there. We'll hook you up with a little something. 0800 Edge, Vanessa. What happened?
Hi. Okay, well, I was doing a Polytech course.
Yeah.
And sort of fairly on in the year, my car got stolen.
Right.
And I was stuck for a ride for a few weeks. And there was this older lady on the course with me, and she offered to give me a ride.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, sweet as. And the whole way back to my place, she started telling me that she was married, but and she had some kids, but she had noticed me and thought I was quite attractive and wondered if I was perhaps interested in exploring that a little bit further.
And so you get out and you're like, oh my God, creepy old mature student, because they're always a bit weird, aren't they? The adult students in the Polytech class. she was totally wanting to les up with me, and everyone's like, we don't believe you, Vanessa.
No, I waited till the end of the year.
Oh, okay.
Like, this was like about March or April. I waited till the end of the year till we had our big, end-of-year blowout, and we all went into town.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I've got something I've got to tell you guys. I've been holding on to it. And nobody believed me. They all thought I was talking shit about her.
And I tweeted this last night, here's a side note, because he is in a prison, Jerry Collins. Do they do bento boxes?
No. They talked to Pete Bethune, who was in a Japanese prison after the whole, when he jumped from one ship to the other. Full Batman. He was full Batman.
Whale Wars.
And then they caught him, and they put him in prison. He said it was like full on. Like you only got 1 cup of coffee a week, and they just feed you like a bread bun. So that's the shit thing. You're there and you're not even getting the local culinary.
You're not even getting teriyaki chicken.
No, because I would imagine in a Japanese prison there's a teppanyaki chef with a mobile trolley, and he comes down and he's like, what you want? And you're like, ooh,
do you have the scallops today?
Yeah, I'd love some scallops. He's like, scallop! And then you just sit in your thing and he flicks them through the bars into your mouth. And you're just like, yeah, Japan prison rules.
But it's a bread roll.
Yeah, it's a bread roll.
Not what I thought. Not what I thought.
Pretty shit, Japan. You should sort that out, pull it together.
Yeah.
Some text messages about stories that you've told people that they never believe. A text message says, no one ever believes me that I saved a dolphin when I was out on Waiheke Island by myself.
And they refloated it and everything?
Yeah.
Wow.
Could you rock a selfie with a dolphin? Just be like, mate, just before I push out, I might just load this up.
Hang on, before you possibly die here.
I've got an iPhone 4. Hold on, it's getting a bit old. It's taking a while. Just don't go anywhere for a minute. And it's like... Hold on, chat. Hold on just a minute. Here we go. Nah, it's no good. Hold on. Better angle.
Oh, the light.
Good light. Bad light. Probably you should go turn around. So just how do I turn you? Do I put a finger in your blowhole like a bowling ball? And okay, shit. Okay, you're about to die. I'll push you back into the ocean. And they never believe them.
Wow.
Other stories, and these stories are just, even if they aren't true, I love them.